Will Puka Nacua play on Sunday versus the Saints? The newest Ram, Roger McCreary, discusses being traded to the Rams. Also, Sean McVay talks about the Rams' activity leading up to the trade deadline, and if he anticipates another move, that's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you hear podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to support every episode. Hit the like button. Did pass 20,000 subscribers. Now I got to 30K and 40K, but thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Podcast listeners, write us a review, read on the show. My name is Doug McCain. Friends call me DMAC. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. I've covered LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation, the LA Sports Report. I also do NFL Radio for Westwood One. Today I'm flying solo, the People's Champ, Mr. Travis Rogers, will be back tomorrow. But on today's episode, we've got all the latest Rams news. We're going to hear the comments from the newest Ram and what was his reaction to being traded here to LA. Also, Sean McVay talks about the moves the Rams could still make leading up to the November 4th NFL trade deadline. But first, today's episode of Locked On Rams brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. All right, so got some injury news to get into. Lots of Rams news. I mean, you got a bye week, and you got your first game. It feels like the second half of the season, even though it's technically not that. But the first thing we'll get into is the injury report. So after a week off, the Rams and Saints, they will meet in a Week 9 matchup on Sunday at SoFi Stadium. Rams hoping to go 6-3 on the year. And the injury report leading up to the game is encouraging right now. So offensive tackle Rob Havenstein and Darius Williams and safety Cameron Kinchins, they're limited. Havenstein with the ankle, Darius Williams with the shoulder, and Cameron Kinchins with the toe. But wide receiver Puka Nacua, who had been dealing with the ankle injury, he had been limited on Wednesday. He was upgraded to a full participant on Thursday. So Rams fans, fantasy football managers that are tuning into this show, you got to feel good about the fact that they're going to be getting Puka Nacua back for the second half, for the stretch run, for the games after the bye. And Darius Williams, we knew that he was going to be out for at least a game. Rob Havenstein has been out, and Warren McClendon has done a serviceable job filling in for him. As far as the Saints go, nothing really new from their end. Running back Alvin Kamara dealing with the ankle injury, and running back Devin Neal dealing with the ankle injury. Wide receiver Rashid Shaheed dealing with a hip injury, and quarterback Alante Taylor with the shoulder were all listed as limited. Defensive lineman Devon Gottschalks, he was added to the report as a non-participant, but it was for a day off for a veteran. So that's where they're at from a injury standpoint, and you got to feel great about that. I mean, to see Puka Nacua back in the fold after Devontae Adams, I think, is going to be even better because he caught 3 touchdowns, because he's more immersed in this offense, because it's deeper into the season. So I feel good about that. Terrence Ferguson, we've talked about that. We've talked about this offense hopefully peaking at the right time, and that is not in weeks 1 through 8. It's weeks 9 and beyond, and that's an opportunity that they do have. And Matthew Stafford does want to spread the ball around. And like I said before, Sean McVay said it, that having Puka Nacua out against the Jags was going to be a blessing in disguise because it was going to allow him to utilize a lot more weapons. You had 10 receivers that caught a pass, tight ends and receivers, and it was the first time you've seen a Rams quarterback spread the ball out like that since we saw Nick Foles do it back in 2015. But it wasn't a one-week thing, and that is the hope for Matthew Stafford in this offense, because Stafford, he said today that the team is better when more players are involved. Matty Stafford said, quote, "I think the more people we can get involved in the game, the better we are. We have a couple of extremely talented players, quite a few that are difference makers in this league. When we can spread the ball around and make everybody defend all the guys, all the eligibles, every blade of grass, that's when we're at our best. Continue to try and do that and let the big games for certain guys just happen. Frankly, I try to play that way all the time. Sometimes it shakes out a little bit differently, but I'm doing everything I can to throw the ball where the coverage tells me to throw the ball and give our guys opportunities to do what they do best." So just to kind of give you an idea where they're at with this, Puka Nacua and Davante Adams, they've been targeted 65 times for Puka and 63 times for Davante Adams. And that is with Puka Nacua missing their Week 8 win over the Jaguars, their Week 7 win. They're at the Week 8 bye. And you look at those target shares, no other pass catcher in this offense has more than 26 targets. And no other receiver has more than 17. Outside of Puka Nacua and Davante Adams, the third most targets has gone to Kyron Williams with 26, and no other receiver has more than 17, and that's Jordan Whittington. And that does not mean that they don't have guys that are open, guys that are getting the ball more. I think it kind of means that Terrence Ferguson has not had the impact that we expect him to have. Tutu Atwell has been injured. Jordan Whittington's a guy that you look him in certain situations, he's not going to be a guy that is going to get close to the targets as Puka and Davante Adams, and does not mean that Stafford is going to just, okay, oh, there's one for Davante, there's one for Puka. All right, now let's force the ball to Whittington or Ferguson or whoever's in there. It just means that they're going to take advantage of spraying the targets out if the coverage dictates it, like Matthew Stafford said. It's easier said than done, though, because we know that there's a reason why guys have their best years with Matthew Stafford. When it comes to Calvin Johnson or Cooper Kupp in 21 or Puka Nacua these last couple of years, when these guys, they know they have a quarterback like Matthew Stafford, they can give him the ball, they're going to do what they can to get open and take advantage and make the most of it. And on Stafford's side, once he trusts you and he knows that he has a receiver that can beat his man and make plays, he's going to get that guy the football. But I think it's more about keeping defenses honest, and it's only a good thing. And for me, the number one guy, I'm not as concerned. I mean, when Tutu Atwell gets healthy, I would like to see him on some packages, on some deep balls where you can find a way to get him more involved. Jordan Whittington, not as concerned about. The main guy for me, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, is Terrence Ferguson, just because I think he brings a dynamic that really helps, and it can really change the course of this offense because he's 6'5", 4.6 speed, can run that streak down the seam, can catch fades, can help you in the red zone. But he needs experience, and that's the ultimate currency, is that experience there. So that's what I want to see, and that's what I hope we're going to see. And it's good to see that Puka Nacua is going to be back this week. And it's pretty interesting because we're getting into the trades, and there is a tight end for the Rams that has been mentioned as a trade target. And Sean McVay did talk about potential trades and if the Rams are done. And we are going to get into that next on Locked On Rams. This episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathe work, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings this same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but. From smooth handling to intuitive controls, with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating. That's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price because all fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. I pulled up Gametime, and in just a couple of taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite NFL games as low as $100. And I love the Gametime app. I've used it anytime my mom or my wife, they want to go to a Dodger game, Rams, Lakers. That is the app I use because it is super simple. I can even see the exact view from my seat before buying. I think that's a difference maker. I also love zone deals too. You pick the section, Gametime picks the seats, and you save big. Honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I bought tickets at any point in my life. And I love Gametime for that. So download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Down the Gametime app today. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday, free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also want to give a big shout out to those everyday listeners out there watching and listening to every single episode of Locked On Rams. Cannot thank you enough. You are the engine of this show. And if you are not an everyday listener, now's the time to join. You've got the trade deadline. You've got the stretch run for the division. For the playoffs, well, they'll be here before you know it. So now's the time to join the Everyday Listeners Club. Be the most informed Rams fan you know, and you won't miss a thing about your favorite football team. Okay, here in our second segment, we're going to jump around on some different things. But first, I want to talk a little more about the newest Ram, and that is cornerback Roger McCreary. He spoke to reporters for the first time, and he talked about his role, the whole process, and the first thing he said was, hey, quote, I feel like I can play inside and outside, and they said, let's talk about the Rams, that they would need me in those spots. So just like we said on the show, you're going to see him as a versatile corner, inside, outside, mixing things up. That is definitely what you want to be able to do if you want to be a Los Angeles Rams, and that is be able to do more than just one thing. The more versatile you are, the more valuable you are to this franchise. You want to say, basically, they gave me the main role I'm going to be at, but I know they want me to help right away. I feel like that's my mindset, just improve and learn and just be where my feet are. Now, McCreary, he did play mostly slot for the Titans in his time in Tennessee, 1,747 snaps since 2022. And he also played 880 outside cornerback snaps in his first two seasons, 662 in 2022. He also lined up in the box 386 times. And in those snaps, he 3 interceptions, 70 pass defended, 4 sacks, 253 tackles in 55 career games. So Chris Shula, the Rams defensive coordinator, I think he's going to feel like, okay, this is a new toy that I'm going to get to play with, and I'm going to try to optimize, because you look at his size, 5'11", 190 pounds. That's a good size to be versatile and to be big and physical enough to make tackles and to make plays in the slot against physical receivers, tight ends if they're matched up. And I think the experience that he has is going to allow him to integrate himself and adjust to the Rams and Chris Shula's style of defense quickly. And I think, too, it's a cool thing for him because even though he has a good amount of experience, he's still young. And I think that they're going to benefit from that infusion of youthful excitement, that joy that he brings, and just going from Tennessee, where they're going nowhere, to a Rams team that has Super Bowl aspirations. That is going to help him, I think, level up as well and help be a guy that can help this team win football games for the second half of the season. So that was the main thing I was looking for after the trade was what was the communication going to be like from the Rams to McCreary about his role. And as I expected, they were going to say, let's mix him up. Let's have some versatility with him. And we knew they were going to be interested in adding in the secondary with the Akella Witherspoon breaking his clavicle. He won't return until week 14, week 15, something around that time. And then with Darius Williams with the shoulder injury, that's another issue that he sustained in week 7. Then Sean McVay, we know, is going to say good things about his players, but Emmanuel Forbes has really struggled, one of the lowest graded cornerbacks in the NFL. So they need help at that position. They got it, and I'm hoping that this is an upgrade, and I think it will be. And the more tape that I look at, the more people I talk to, the more excited I get about this, especially when you look at what the Rams gave up to get him. You're not giving up a ton to get him, and it didn't require this big package or anything like that. And I think this is a move that you got to give credit to the scouts and the powers that be within the Rams that pull the trigger on these things, because the Titans, they received a 2026 conditional 5th-round pick. The Rams, you got a conditional 2026 6th-round pick with McCreary. So the Titans, they're likely going to get the Rams' 5th-round pick. It'll be closer to the beginning of the 5th round, while the Rams, they're going to get Tennessee's pick in the 6th round, closer to the end of the round. So when you look at a Rams team that didn't even break camp with Pooh Paul, a guy they took in the 5th, and they're not even playing a Jarquez Hunter, I mean, it's not like the Rams are beholden to these picks. And I do think that if this is more than just depth, this is a guy that they're hoping that can have an impact for this team. So, yeah, I'm getting more and more excited about Roger McCreary. I hope that, hey, he can just hit the ground running day one and have an impact on this football team starting this week against the Saints. I think it's a good week to start him, too. I mean, to get him going with this group in after the bye, because, hey, your teammates, they know that it's your first game. They're going to want to make sure you feel good about everything. And it's not like you're playing a lead team with elite wide receivers, right? You're going to be able to hopefully get off to a good start in your Rams career. Now, this is what Sean McVay had to say about Roger McCreary. He said that, quote, the Rams respected his game from afar, and that we're really just excited to get him comfortable with his teammates and where to go, and that I was just talking to him a little bit before the special teams walkthrough. We're excited to be able to have him and to continue to get to know him. I think more than anything, we want to put our arm around him and try to be able to get him up to speed as quickly as possible, with the expectation that he'll help in some form or fashion this week. There you go. And that tells you what they expect from him. And McCreary's cool, man. He was talking about the weather in L.A., how it's a warm day, and it was colder in Tennessee. So once that L.A. vibe hits you, man, once you feel them sun rays and you see the palm trees, you go by the beach, I think he's going to be happy and happier to be here, especially when he sees what the Rams do and how they do things internally. So I'm definitely excited about that. Okay. Now, Sean McVay also talked about the trade deadline, and he said that the team hasn't, quote, really discussed any other potential moves, but, quote, it's not something that we've really talked about. I think if certain opportunities arise that you feel like they can give you a chance to be able to significantly upgrade your football team, I feel really good about our group and the growth that I still think can be had from us in spite of doing some good things. That's really in all three phases. It hasn't been something that we really talked about, but I certainly would never rule that out. So it sounds like Sean McVay is open to making a move if it's for the right player. And who knows? I mean, they're not going to reveal anything. They're going to keep things close to the vest. I think the McCreary trade, though, it addressed an issue, gave you some secondary depth, and the team doesn't have a ton of holes on this roster, but it's just the opportunity to add a piece that could get you over the top. And we've seen what this team has been able to do, the Von Millers of the world. I mean, no one saw that one come in, and they were also interested in adding Christian McCaffrey a couple years ago. So we'll see if they look to upgrade the tight end position. You've seen the Rams linked to guys like Mark Andrews. We know you have Terrence Ferguson, but Tyler Higbee is looking like his career is going to come to an end pretty soon here. He's a really valuable blocker, drops some key third downs. Also, you've seen Colby Parkinson included in some trade pieces from ESPN and other outlets as targets for other teams. So right now it doesn't seem like it's extremely likely that they're going to go out there and be aggressive to add a big star piece. But I do think it's the Rams, so you can never rule them out for anyone. And as you get closer to the deadline, we'll see if there's a name that surfaces that the Rams could get that they feel like, okay, it can help us now, it can help us in the future, and it's worth parting ways with one of those top picks. I can tell you from just my own sources that, yeah, I mean, part of the reason why you trade out of that first round in the 2025 draft was to gain capital to use to potentially find Matthew Stafford's successor at quarterback. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious at this point, but I also think, too, the Rams don't have any hard and fast rules. I think that their number one goal as a franchise organization is to get better any way they can, and they also are all in on the 2025 Rams. So let's just kind of keep quiet. It's kind of the quiet before the storm a little bit. If nothing happens, nothing happens. But I also think, too, this is a Rams team that knows that they have a special group, that there's not a lot of elite teams out there, and that they can beat any team in the NFL. And if they get better, not only do they help themselves, but they also prevent another team that could be in their way from getting a player themselves. That's always a part of the conversation as well. But coming up next, more Rams talk. And we are looking ahead to the Saints, and we will talk about some other interesting things about the defense for this team, because this Rams defense, no one's really talking about it. They could go down as one of the best defenses in franchise history, and I'll tell you why next on Locked On Rams.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs. With features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance, you can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go, while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Okay, so I want to talk about the D. I want to talk about the Rams defense in this third segment, because I feel like they're still a little overlooked, a little under the radar. They're not getting enough attention from the national media, but that is the backbone of this team. And yes, this offense has the potential to be elite. One of my preseason predictions for the Rams was that you're going to have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. The first time that you're going to do that since the Greatest Show on Turf era Rams. But just look at the production from this group. The Rams have won 2 consecutive games before its Week 8 bye, and currently they have the 3rd best scoring defense in the NFL. They average 16.7 points allowed per game, and in the last 2 games, the Rams defense, they've allowed just 10 points, 3 to the Ravens in Week 7 and 7 to the Jaguars in Week 9. And those are franchise first level numbers for this team in over a decade. And you're just looking at a level of production that is, for this franchise, historic. It really is. I mean, the Rams' 10 total points allowed over the last 2 games is the fewest in franchise history over any 2-game span since weeks 13 and 14 in 2024. The Rams, they were led by Jeff Fisher, and in 2014, they were led by Jeff Fisher, and you had a 52-0 win over the Raiders and a 24-0 win over Washington, and that wasn't even a good Rams team. I mean, that was a Rams team that went 6-10 that year. And then you just kind of look beyond that 2-week stretch. The Rams have allowed just 117 total points this year. That is the second lowest mark behind the Houston Texans. That point output is a franchise best through 7 games since 2001, when the Rams allowed 115 total points. And that was the last time you had a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. So, I mean, that is extremely, extremely productive. And the Rams, 117 points allowed this season. That's their fewest through 7 games. I mean, that's just unbelievable. And that was a team where you had Mike Martz as their head coach. They were 6-1 to start the year, and they finished 14-2 before losing to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So that is a good sign. That is a really, really good sign, because there are some similarities from the 2001 team, that 2014 team, and that was not a good, you want to be compared to the 2001 team, not the 2014, but you got Matthew Stafford, you got Kyren Williams, you got a couple of really good receivers, elite in Puka Nacua and a stud veteran in Devontae Adams. 2001, you had Kurt Warner, a great quarterback that already won a Super Bowl. Marshall Faulk. I mean, of course, there's no comparison between Marshall Faulk and Kyren Williams. Marshall Faulk, arguably the best running back in the NFL at the time. Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, 2 great receivers. I think those are guys that are a little more comparable to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, and they both had really good defenses. So I love the similarities. I feel it, and I'm hoping that we have a better result than that 2001 team. I don't want to just get to the Super Bowl. I want this Rams team to win the Super Bowl, and that has to be the goal for sure. And you got to feel really good about it where this is. And a couple of things too. You had 3 Rams that made the All-Pro mid-season prediction list, and you got, of course, Puka Nacua. But then you also have Jared Verse and Matthew Stafford. So that definitely is a very, very big time positive thing to see, with Matthew Stafford having the year that he's had. He leads the NFL with 17 touchdowns. Puka Nacua is top 4 receptions. Also Byron Young in the mix as well, who's 3rd in sacks. So, yeah, I mean, Puka Nacua is the obvious one, 616 yards, 2 touchdowns, despite missing 2 weeks. And then Young, 9 sacks in 7 games. And Jared Verse, he's the reigning defensive rookie of the year. He's another guy. And then, Matthew Stafford is another sneaky candidate too. And that would definitely help Matthew Stafford as far as the legacy. I mean, he definitely is someone that you want to collect as many accolades as you can. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler in his career, but you don't have that All-Pro. You don't have that All-Pro. And that All-Pro is what you really strive for, right? Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowler, which is look, I'd take a Pro Bowler. It'd be my biggest accomplishment for sure. But these guys, they want to finish with All Pros, and that definitely helps bolster your Hall of Fame case. I think Stafford's already a Hall of Famer. 61,675 total passing yards, a 91.7 passer rating, 394 touchdowns to 190 picks. He's going to finish over 400 touchdowns. Let's hope that he gets to 64,000 yards, 65 if he goes crazy and he comes back next year. So, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Super Bowl champion. Should have been MVP. He also was the NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 2011, by the way. But, gives a lot of love to this defense for sure. And I'm very excited about this second half. after the bye, it's time to really get going, time to really get serious, because this is what separates the pretenders from the contenders. And the Rams, I think, are a legitimate contender. We're going to see a focus group, a group that hopefully can stay healthy and make a run at this division, this conference, and finish with the Lombardi Trophy. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCann. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.